oral questions, questions orales. The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Control what happens abroad, but the Liberals do control the policies that they are imposing that make life more expensive, like the Liberal fuel standard. This is effectively another kind of carbon tax which adds 7 cents a litre and will rise to 17 cents a litre, meaning more costs for drivers, farmers, fishermen, and those who transport us our food. The Liberal Prime Minister is also hiking the industrial carbon tax on steel, aluminum, plastic, and farm equipment. These costs are imposed at home, not abroad, and paid for by Canadians. When will the Liberals accept responsibility for what they can control and cancel their policies that make life more expensive for Canadians?
The Honourable Minister for Jobs. The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, Canada is an energy superpower, and last year Canadian oil production reached a record high. No one can predict the future of energy markets, but our allies are looking for stable, reliable energy supplies in an increasingly uncertain world. That's why we're fast-tracking projects like the Taylor to Gordondale pipeline. That's why we're fast-tracking projects like the Sunrise expansion. That's why the TMX optimization is moving forward. Mr. Speaker, we are helping solve the world's affordability problem.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Well, let's look at the facts. Among the G7, under this Liberal Prime Minister, Canada now has the worst food price inflation and the only economy that's shrinking. All of this has gotten worse since he became Prime Minister. Instead of helping lower prices by cancelling Liberal taxes, he's driving them even higher. When companies who process, transport, store, or sell food pay more, who does he think all those costs get passed on to? We cannot control what happens in other countries, but we can absolutely control whether or not to drive prices higher with tax increases. Why not at least give Canadians a break from Liberal taxes and cancel the fuel standard tax and the industrial carbon tax?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it's Monday. It seems that my colleague was missing in action. Mr. Speaker, in fact, we're taking back control. The first thing we did was to cut tax for 22 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. That is the very first thing we did. And just to correct the record, Mr. Speaker, Canada is projected to have the second fastest growth in the G7, Mr. Speaker. And this morning, Mr. Speaker, we had the G7 finance minister call. We're coordinating our action. We're going to take action together to make sure that we can bring energy to the world, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The honourable member for Barrie South Innisfil.
Meanwhile, here at home, Canadian families, seniors and businesses are still dealing with ideologically flawed economic policies, regulation and legislation that has seen the cost of everything, including food prices in Canada, rise 7.3% in January alone. Taxes imposed on our farmers, fishers, and those who transport our food, as well as the industrial carbon tax, which this Liberal Prime Minister keeps in place, have raised prices on everything made with steel, aluminum, and plastic. Why can't the Liberal Prime Minister do the right thing and remove these failed policies that have caused unnecessary hardship and make life more expensive for our people and our businesses?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Well, Mr. Speaker, when my colleague talks about ideological programs, I surely hope he's not talking about the National Child Care Plan, which has actually reduced costs for Ontario families by $16,000 per child per year here in Ontario. Mr. Speaker, I sure hope he's not talking about a school nutrition program, which families, experts, educators have all sung the praises of for ensuring kids get good food. I sure hope he's not talking about the dental care plan, which is helping low-income Canadians get their teeth fixed. I don't know what he means when he says ideological.
The honourable member for Barrie South Innisfil.
What I am talking about, Mr. Speaker, is our businesses and our people dealing with self-inflicted wounds, because they are. By failing to eliminate these ideological taxes causing cascading affordability impacts to the ideological, almost hate-driven attacks on our wealth-creating natural resource sector, every problem we have started here at home in 2015 and continues today under this Liberal Prime Minister. Our nation has the worst food inflation in the G7 and the only shrinking economy in the G7. When will the Liberals accept responsibility for what they can control and caused by removing policies that have made life more expensive for our people and businesses?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, let me correct the record again. I know my colleagues like to say things in this hour, but you have to be credible. Canada will have the second fastest growth in the G7. That's what's reported by international agency, Mr. Speaker. But when you're talking to Canadians, because it's Monday, Mr. Speaker, they should talk about the good news for Canadians. The good news is called the Canada Grocery and Essential Benefit, Mr. Speaker, because on this side of the House, we understand that we need to help people now, and it's really interesting to see the Conservative criticizing because they have voted against every program, Mr. Speaker, whether it's about farmer...
The Honourable Member for Richmond-Athabasca. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is Monday, and once again we get to hear the Minister of Finance's cassette tape there. Last night, Mr. Speaker, I was at the grocery store. The costs of groceries is constantly rising. Eating should not be a privilege. So many Canadians do not have access to this privilege. The cost of food has skyrocketed. If you go to the grocery store and you see a family with 2 boxes of ramen noodles in their grocery carts, it's just wrong. We have the worst food inflation in the G7. The government must take action. When will it eliminate the fuel tax? The Honourable Minister of Finance. I know my colleague likes repeating things. Perhaps he can repeat this to all his fellow citizens. The Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit. That helps 12 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. That's something he can repeat everywhere he goes in his riding. If he wants to repeat a tape, then he should certainly use that tape because that will help Canadians further, Mr. Speaker. When we spoke to the UPA, they said take structural measures, and that's exactly what we did. $500 million fund to be managed by my colleague to increase resilience and food security in this country. That's what taking action means. The Honourable Member for Richmond-Athabasca. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, let's talk about action. Canada cannot control what the presidents in other countries do, but we can control our destiny. We have energy. Let's develop it. We have critical minerals. Let's access them quickly. We have a housing problem. Let's build houses. We have a food cost problem. Let's eliminate the industrial carbon tax. These are costs we have here at home, not abroad. I invite the Liberal government to use our solutions and implement them. We want to give Canadians some breathing room. When will the Liberal government finally take action? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Look, Mr. Speaker, I'm listening to my colleague. I think he must have read our game plan, except towards the very end. He's basically repeated what we've been saying daily. So there's still room on this side of the House if my colleague wants to join us. The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, let's get back to the CURAM software. 85,000 retirees are having problems accessing their pensions. $5 billion in cost overruns, all of which could have been avoided had the Liberals done their homework, because CURAM's been causing problems all over the place. In 2006 in Australia, in 2012, North Carolina, Minnesota 2013, Ontario 2014, Maryland 2019, 20 years now. CURAM has been malfunctioning and costing more than expected. How did the Liberals not fix the bugs before launching CURAM? The Honourable Member.
The program that the member opposite is talking about, CURAM, is used by 20 countries around the world. This is a wild goose chase, and she knows it. 7.7 million Canadians have been successfully transferred to this system. In fact, we are working through the backlog. These are complicated cases, often paper applications. There is a hotline for urgent cases. Urgent cases are getting dealt with within 24 to 48 hours. Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect responsible, reliable delivery of benefits, and that's what this modernization provides.
The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean.